What's up?
Hello. Welcome, everybody.
What's going on?
How we cooking? How we doing? And what's happening, ladies and gentlemen out there in Facebook land and YouTube and Instagram and every place else that we've got this show streaming. This is the Build and Grow with Real Estate show, where we talk about education, news, and just a good conversation about real estate. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we do content. And this week we talked about market cycles and what those look like and what market cycle we're in right now and what's coming next. And we wanted to, and then on every Thursday, we have a guest, and Friday we do a news wrap up. So our weekly guest this week is a good friend of mine, Jason Sanseverino. Jason, Josh, I've been doing this for about 20 years. You've been doing this for about 15 years. You know, I mean, neither one of us is strangers to this game. And we talked about having somebody on who has seen market cycles in the past. And it's funny, both of us thought about Jason. Jason That's is right. A guy who, like, we came up together. Jason, how many years would you say you've been doing this? It's been at least.
You really want to know, because it's going to age me, man.
Okay.
Well, seriously, I've been around since '97.
Okay.
Yeah.
About from high school.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So it really dates me. The fact that I've been around since '97, but just like what Judah's saying, I've been through some good times and I've been through some really bad times. And you were talking this past week. You're talking about the market cycles going up and going down. I've been on the highest highs. I've been on the lowest lows, and we got to weather the storm.
Right.
So, Jason, what made you get into real estate? Like, is this something that you've always wanted to do, or is this something that you just kind of stumbled into?
This is something that I kind of stumbled into because I went to LaSalle University in Philadelphia, got a degree in finance, risk management, and insurance. So I actually did a dual major. And I thought to myself, man, I really want to get into the finance business. So I actually got a job right out of college working with Ernst & Young, an accounting firm, big accounting firm. I actually started working in their Times Square office, right in New York, 787 7th Ave. Really nice. You think your dream job. My first day on the job, my receptionist opened up my office door, and she took my suit jacket off, put it in the closet. And I saw a cot. There was a cot in my closet. And I said, hold on a second. What's this cot for? And she said, oh, you'll use it. Like, you're serious. Well, fast forward, I realized that I hate working in an office. I hate working in an office. I really wanted to be out on the street doing something different. And really at that point, my ex-wife, but my wife at the time, her dad was a real estate developer just outside of Harrisburg, and he was looking for somebody to help run his business. And I said, wow, that's great. Let's go ahead and do that. So that right there, Judah, that's when I caught the bug. That's when I decided, I'm like, man, this is what I want to do.
That's great.
And I mean, what is it? 23 years later, 23 years later, here I am still doing it.
That's awesome. Awesome.
That's actually really cool. And so, yeah, so I knew that we had, like, I knew you had more experience than I do, because I got in the industry in like 01, 02. So you got in, 17. So you've been 97. So you were at it for about 4 or 5 years when I got started. But that whole time, Jason, like, we've kind of grown and developed together, and I've just always had tremendous respect for you. I've done every type of deal there is out there 2 or 3 times. I never like being pigeonholed as a subject to guy or a buy and hold guy or anything else like that, because I do whatever deal comes in front of me, and I can help anybody with any deal that comes in front of me. But you've always done a large portion of the deals you've done have always been, I've known you as doing subject twos. And subject twos is the one, or excuse me,
short sales.
And short sales, wow.
Wrong guess, Judah.
short sales is the one thing that I also don't do. So like
Right.
you're the local expert in short sales. And it's also the one thing that like I've done 2 or 3 of them and they're just to me more work. And I realize you can get better at them. So I just always shovel them off to you. And I'm like, whenever anybody needs them, I send them to you. Whenever I need one done, I send it to you. And I'm like, hey, give me a referral here, or we'll figure it out or whatever. So why short sales? And has it ever been anything before short sales? And like, just talk to me about short sales.
I want to throw something in there real quick. Take a step even before that. Explain what the heck a short sale is. Right?
There we go. Let's do that. Okay. So the definition of a short sale is real simple. A short sale is the sale of real estate where the net proceed from the sale is not enough to cover the liens against the real estate. Now, sometimes people think mortgages. Yeah, we have mortgages, HELOCs, we have real estate taxes, we have homeowners association dues. So think of the big picture. A short sale just occurs when a homeowner just can't sell their house for enough to cover the bills.
Right.
That's really it.
So here's an example. So let's say that I own a piece of real estate and it's worth $100,000 and I owe $80,000 on it, right? That's a pretty generic scenario. It's $100,000 house. I owe 80 on it. But because it needs work and because we're in a depressed market and because
it's not worth 100,000 then.
Right. So a bunch of investors are only offering me $60,000 for it. So I would have to go to Josh. Let's say Josh over here is the lender and say, hey, Josh, I know I owe you 80, but listen, I mean, this is a bad day for you and a bad day for me. Will you let me only pay you 60 and you walk away and I walk away and we both lose? And so what Jason does is Jason is the guy who handles that negotiation with the bank or the homeowners associations or the other people to say, listen, guys, maybe at one time when the market was different and this house was better, or you made a mistake and lent more than you should have, whatever the case may be, there's more leaned against this house than what it is. Let's all just recognize that we need to take less in order to make a deal happen.
Totally. And that's, that's kind of a good scenario that you bring up. When it comes down to the actual value of the real estate, and here's where some of the homeowners that I work with, I really try to nail it down to them. I don't control the price.
Right.
What happens is when we're working with the homeowner, and we start submitting documents to their mortgage company. I mean, the mortgage company is going to want to do, first of all, they're going to want to do a financial strip search of the homeowner. They're going to want to make sure that homeowner is practically destitute. They don't have any savings. They have no capacity to maintain that mortgage payment. And after they do that financial investigation of the homeowner, once they determine that the homeowner is just not capable of maintaining that mortgage payment, the mortgage company is going to send an appraiser out to the property. And that's where that value gets established. The mortgage company is going to usually use a third-party vendor to hire the appraisal. So there's that little step in between. But that appraiser is going to determine, hey, what's the market value for this property? So if you have an investor that wants to buy the property and that property, let's say that the after repair value is 100, but you have $20,000 or $30,000 of repairs that need to be done to make it worth that 100. When the appraiser goes out to the property, it's really important that when the appraiser goes out to the property, somebody meets the appraiser and explains to him or her, the comps are showing 100, but the comps are in superior condition. They're practically move-in ready. And then provide like a contractor estimate that shows what it's going to cost to bring that property up to a market value.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that there's some skill involved there, especially in these day and ages where it's very hard to talk to appraisers without being labeled fraudulent. So there's a way that you have to talk to an appraiser without seeming like you're steering the appraisal or asking for value. So you've got to seem like you're helping.
Absolutely. we never, I always say the F word. The F word is fraud.
Right.
Josh is, whoa, F word. Never do we try to steer anything. We are just simply providing information. For instance, if you're an appraiser and you go out to a subject property and you're not aware that the septic system just got inspected, the septic system just failed, and we need to install a $5,000 septic tank.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we're doing with the appraisers is we're just simply providing information to the appraiser to help them calculate, a realistic number.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all
And
it is.
that you probably had to learn that skill over time, I'm sure.
I gotta share something here. It's funny that you say that. So the only short sale that I ever did, I actually got the lead going down and filing an eviction on a tenant. And like I had at the time, I had a really consistent, pitch, my 30-second pitch, handing out a card. If you know anybody that's looking to sell their house, Well, I get this call from this woman. Come to find out, she was on like the evening news because she had
Go ahead.
27 cats and 17 dogs living in a 3-bedroom row home in Northeast Philadelphia. And she got conned by some contractor that said, hey, let me turn this house into a duplex while I'm living in it with my family. And you're living on the first floor. I'm going to move in the second floor. And my daughter's going to live in the basement with her dogs. This house smelled so awful. I ran out of the house and threw up the first time I went into the thing.
Wow.
And then the city had boarded it up and cleaned it out and all this kind of stuff. But I could not communicate that to the bank. They're seeing pictures and they're going, not so bad. And I'm going, not so bad. I'm throwing up just going by the house.
So if you're an appraiser, you're an appraiser, what value do you put on a horrible smell?
Yeah.
What's the value of that? What we're doing is I would actually hire somebody to do a contractor estimate so that we understand what's it going to take to get that smell out of the house.
Yeah. And that's where your expertise comes into play because I didn't do that. I'm more arguing with the loss mitigation guy going, you have no idea what this place is like,
And they're never going to be able to help you because you can't put a value on that and the bank doesn't understand. Yeah. So Judah was talking about short sales and how short sales are complicated. They are. And there are so many real estate professionals that I work with that constantly say, Jason, I swear to God, I'm never going to do a short sale again. I am just going to pass on it. And I always explain to them that if you run into a short sale situation and you don't want to take on the business, refer to me. I'll pay you a referral fee.
Right.
Because the reality of it is that homeowner needs help. And that homeowner is looking for a professional that really understands the short sale process. I mean, they're out there looking for help. Please help me. I need to sell my property. It's going to go to sheriff's sale in 2 months.
Yeah.
And, for a real estate professional to say, I might not be the best for you, call me. I'll take it over. I'll pay your referral fee, and we're going to help that homeowner liquidate a home that they can't keep.
Why? So why short sales?
So back to history. I started in 97, got involved with land development, subdivision, new construction. I got my real estate license. I started doing, normal resales. I started working with buyers. And then early 2000, like 2001, 2002, I started getting involved in real estate investing. And one of the guys that I worked with was teaching me about second mortgages and how to work with second lien holders to maybe negotiate a discount, maybe strip them entirely, because I was finding deals that made a lot of sense, but the second mortgage just screwed it up. So I learned how to start working with second mortgage companies. Now, fast forward to 2005, 2006, I had a great rental portfolio. Everything was going really great, really well. And my real estate business was just flourishing. And then fast forward 2008, 9, 10, when all hell broke loose,
right?
I was actually riding on the edge, when you just leverage yourself out to the point where you absolutely have no money in your pocket, but you have tons of real estate.
Right.
that's also leveraged.
Right.
I had tenants that lost jobs. They couldn't afford to pay rent. I had the, commercial loans being called because I couldn't afford the payments. Went through a horrible divorce, went through bankruptcy. Bankruptcy, the B word, that was bad.
Right.
I went through bankruptcy to clear up all of these problems that were created due to the mortgage meltdown.
Yep.
And I started focusing on pre-foreclosures and homeowners that were really going through essentially what I just went through.
Yeah.
Because when I went through that whole situation with bankruptcy, divorce, my income as a real estate professional went down. It went down to almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working with these banks, struggling, trying to make things coordinate. And then all of a sudden I realized, I was like, man, I'm going to be able to help people that are going through what I went through. And all of a sudden I realized that there was a huge market to help homeowners that were going through foreclosure like I went through. I had to do a short sale on my marital home with my ex-wife. We had to do a short sale on that property.
Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to help the people that were going through what I was going through. And with my experience and knowledge, I decided that it was something that I was going to be able to help with. And ever since then, I haven't looked back.
Well, so, Jason, I think it's really interesting how you were able to pool on your personal experience. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that helps when you're dealing with people because,
it does. It's credibility.
And empathy. I mean,
yeah.
like, you know what it feels like. It's like,
yeah.
What the heck
It
happened?
sucks.
Yeah. So Steve is one of our best our best.
I see Steve.
He's always in here, and I really appreciate that. He's got a question. How long does the process take? What kind of?
All right. Generally speaking, and it's really it's hard to generalize with the short sale process because it can depend on several different factors. Generically, I'm going to tell you 4 to 6 months, you should have a short sale wrapped up. 4 to 6 months, that's about the generic term.
Mm-hmm.
However, depending on the mortgage servicer, you have a lot of different banks involved. You have large servicers that have loss mitigation departments that sometimes work more efficiently than others. And you also have the homeowners. We have homeowners that, number one, they're scared to death of what's going to happen, but they're also not the most organized. Maybe they're not the quickest with paperwork turnaround because remember that financial strip search I was talking about?
Yep.
Well, we need 3 months of bank statements. We need pay stubs, tax returns, some financial forms, maybe a profit and loss if they're self-employed. Well, if they're going through foreclosure and we're working on a short sale, doesn't mean that they're bad people, obviously, because I went through a short sale. They just might not be in the right frame of mind. They might be a little depressed. They might be have anxiety. So that 4 to 6 months can actually be 3 months, or it could be 8 months.
Yeah.
So
you were going through the largest real estate crash that the world has ever seen. Yeah. And a personal or business bankruptcy and a divorce and moving your house and everything like that. That sounds very similar to my story, my friend. And yeah. I can also testify to just how you are not at all in your right frame of mind. You are not at all able to focus on any amount of work or financially painful, difficult things or anything like that. And so having somebody like you come along beside them to walk them through that process, I'm sure that's a big benefit to the homeowner.
Yeah, it really helps. And when I have homeowners that are going through a divorce and I'm talking to the spouses, usually at separate times,
right.
They understand that I've been through a divorce. My divorce took 2 years. It financially wrecked me.
Right.
But now I'm crushing it. And I tell homeowners that I'm working with, I'm like, listen, I know you're going through a tough time. I know it seems like it's just, the end of the world, but there's a bright side of this. You're going to, recover from this and hopefully be, smarter and wiser.
So let's talk about something here, Jason. So a lot of our real estate investors, a lot of our listeners are either realtors or real estate investors. You talk about 4 to 6 week timeline to get these done. I think pipeline management. So
4 to 6 months.
4 to 6 months, right? 4 to 6 months.
Good catch. 4
to 6 months to get this done. I'm all of a sudden thinking pipeline and pipeline management.
Yeah.
For you. and the need to have, my goodness, if you want to be doing 3 deals a month, that is times 5, that's 15, plus you're going to have some fallout. So you've got on your plate 20 to 30 active deals at any one time, and probably another 20 to 30 that are like prospects, or probably even double that number. So probably another 60 people who are prospects who might get into that on your plate, in your pipeline type situation. How do you manage all that? How do you handle all that?
Software.
Yeah.
Software. Well, that's exactly it. You have to have a good CRM. You have to have a really good flow chart in place, because just like you said, Judah, with having 30 active in your pipeline, that's actually exactly, I have 30 deals that are in one stage or the other of short sale process, and I have another 30 that they're in denial. That's really what it is.
Right,
I have another 30 that are in denial, and I don't want to push them to do something that they're not ready to do. I just explain to them that I'm here when and if you're ready.
CRM is contact relationship management.
Right.
Right? Contact relationship management.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
It's
database. Big database.
It's just sales database. Right? So Steve was asking what CRM is, and I'm just.
And also, I don't know if any of you guys use Asana. Have you heard of Asana?
Yeah, Asana.
All right. Asana is just like Monday, it's a project management software platform. Asana was started by one of the founders of Facebook. We also use Asana so we can collaborate with all of our team members for the whole process. CRMs and Asana is really the best way to track things.
Yeah, and Josh told us there. Customer relationship management.
Customer relationship manager. You have to be organized. If you're not organized and you're a scatterbrain, you're not going to do well with short sales, because short sales, you're working with a bank. Banks are analytical. They like paperwork. They like a lot of paperwork. And if your paperwork is wrong, you got to redo it and resend it in.
Right.
And if it's wrong and you have to resend it in, it starts the timeline all over again.
Yeah.
I mean, once we get the correct documents, we'll start looking at your file.
Jason, I want to say something here that's a little bit off topic, but you mentioned the denial thing there. One of the lessons that I've learned and that I've tried to teach people that are real estate investors, but they can't learn this lesson. When you have a motivated person in front of you, you want to sell them on using you, or you want to sell them on why they should list with you, or you want to sell somebody on whatever. But you cannot, and you should not try to sell somebody who's not motivated on being motivated. Your sales is why you should let me be your wholesaler instead of the other people, or let me be your wholesaler instead of listing it, or do a short sale instead of doing this, or whatever. But there is no sales ability in the world that can take somebody who should be motivated. Isn't that the most frustrating thing? If I were gonna list, because I genuinely help people, you genuinely help people. You can do wonders for people who realize they need your services. But if somebody doesn't want to be motivated and doesn't want to admit that where they are, that's the most frustrating thing to me.
Amen, brother. Amen. I would say my phrase is, I can only help those who want to be helped.
Yeah.
And I talk to so many homeowners, several a week, that I can help. They're just not ready. They're not ready to accept that help. And on top of that, I always explain to them that the homeowners that we work with, they don't pay us anything. It's our services are free to them. Seriously, real estate commission gets paid through the short sale.
Right.
Loss mitigation fee gets paid by the buyer. For a seller, for a homeowner, they just think, well, I don't have anywhere to go. I'm going to be homeless. Many short sale programs offer relocation money to homeowners, usually about $3,000. Mm-hmm. If they're in the home and the home's not vacant, we can usually get them $3,000 to help them move.
Yeah.
Now, sadly, they get that money the day of settlement, so they don't get it up front, but they get it on the day the property sells.
Wow.
I mean, that's
all right, let me ask you a question. That's amazing. That's amazing. So let me ask you a question. So So short sales is a way of finding property. Well, I mean, and you do postcards and Facebook advertising, whatever. Do whatever you do to get your phone to ring. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So I mean, because anything works. You know what I mean? You could do bandit shines for short sales. You could do whatever. It's just when the phone rings and you recognize a short sale, you move forward and you do it. So,
Right.
or you just work the referral network of everybody in central Pennsylvania knowing that Jason Sanseverino is the go-to guy for
Call me for short sales.
Absolutely. So here's my question. I'm just curious, what do you do with that? Now, you're going to tell me everything, but what's like the 60 to 80% of the time? You then list them as an approved short sale, you buy them, fix them up and sell them, you wholesale them. What do you do with these short sales once you get an acceptable number approved?
Well, as far as wholesaling, if you write a contract on a short sale and you're the buyer and your end goal is to wholesale it, abandon that idea because it's never going to happen.
Well, that's great information.
Yeah, don't try to wholesale a short sale.
It can be done, but it's hard. It's really super hard.
Anything can be done.
Borderline legality, right?
Little weird. Well, so here's the thing with short sales. Many short sales come with a resale restriction. And what that means is that once the short sale is approved, you buy the property, it's going right into the deed of the property that says you can't sell this house for 30 days, period.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sell it from 31 to 60 for more than, I forget the numbers, it's like 110% of the purchase price. And then from 61 to 90, you can't sell it for more than 120% of what you bought it for. Now, after that 90-day marker, anything's fair game. You can go ahead and sell it for whatever you want to sell it for. Now, those are typical deed restrictions for short sales. So if you want to wholesale it, you really can't because of that deed restriction. So they're perfect fix and flips. Fix and flip, you're at your 90-day time frame, the rehab is done, go ahead and resell it. Or just keep it as a rental. That's always a good thing. So with the short sales that we do, it's really 50-50 as far as, fix and flip, or, the investors that I work with, we always have a certain number. We have a maximum allowable offer. And if the mortgage company is not prepared to accept an offer that's below a certain number, the investor just simply says, listen, I'd love to do a deal, but we just can't do a deal with the bank at this price because the appraisal came in too high, which goes back to that contractor estimate that we talked about. You want to make sure that the appraisal comes in line with really true market value. I mean, you really want to hit that true market value that makes it a viable deal for you. Yeah. In the event that it's just not a viable deal for one of the investors, sadly, it goes just back on the market as a, approved short sale. And we end up looking for a buyer that's willing to pay more. What's complicated, though, is if that value comes in too high, you can't even find a buyer for it. And it goes into foreclosure and it goes to a sheriff's sale, all because you had a screwed up value.
Right.
So I'd say 50-50.
So tell us about, I've known and been a fan of Eric's for a while. And Eric is doing a lot of great things, building a great company, building a really cool culture. And Eric will be the first to tell you that when he stopped hiring little Erics 4 years ago and started hiring people that were different than him, his business really started to grow and explode. And so you're seeing that growth and explosion now. Tell us about Integrity First Home Buyers and what you're doing for them.
Well, for Integrity First Home Buyers, number one, Eric is awesome. Eric and his right-hand man, Anthony, offered me an opportunity in February, because that's when I made the move here in February. They offered me an opportunity that was just groundbreaking, because what they wanted to do, their whole thing, I mean, the whole reason why Integrity First Home Buyers is called Integrity First Home Buyers is because it's Integrity First Home Buyers.
Right.
And they saw something in me with my short sale business that I really care about the homeowners, and I really care about doing the right thing. And that's what they want in the culture. They want people that want to do the right thing. And they decided that they wanted to build out their pre-foreclosure short sale department so that they were able to better serve their homeowners. And really, they knew me, I knew them. I actually just recently did a Facebook Live with Eric back in February. And when I did that Facebook Live with Eric in February, it just clicked. And I saw the spark, and Eric's just like, dude, you should come work for me. And, at the end of that, that's it. That's it. So what I do is I work with a team of short sale professionals. We do a lot of promotion, locating homeowners that could benefit from our services. We don't shove it down their throat. We don't tell them that they have to work with us. We just offer it. If they're willing to accept our help, we can go ahead and help them sell a property that essentially they can't afford to keep. And we do that financial analysis too, to make sure that these homeowners really can't keep it. Because
Right.
you know about loan mods. If you're qualified for a loan mod, most loan mods end up failing in a couple of years anyway. But we're here to do what's in the best interest of the homeowner. And if a short sale is the best interest of a homeowner, I mean, we're gonna fight to make it happen for them. It's really important to us.
Absolutely.
Jason,
it was awesome having you on.
Thank you, guys.
It was I think that we got so much content and so much value. We saw so many great questions. To our dear listeners out there, listen, Josh and I really appreciate that you guys are tuning in every day to listen to two knuckleheads share with you what we've figured out over 20 years in the real estate industry, and having somebody like Jason on just as a third knucklehead to kind of share some ideas.
Hey, I'm a third knucklehead.
Yeah, and toss around some stuff with. Jason, we got to have you on again. But before we kind of wrap up, is there anything you think that we missed, or anything else that you want to say before we let everybody go?
Well, I mean, I can talk about the market status, and talk about the forecast on foreclosures and forbearances, and we could talk about the second quarter of 2021. But we can save that for another time.
We'll save that. We'll save all. Yeah. We got to have you back on, Jason, as a regular guest, because I love the salty dogs. Who, it's funny, dude. We've got 20 years of experience, and now we're the old guys in the industry who have seen a couple of market turns. Do you remember? I remember being the young, inexperienced guy. It's crazy.
My mom actually gave me some old marketing stuff from when I worked with Coldwell Banker back in the early 20s. She said, "Oh, look, I was cleaning out my junk drawer and I found these." And I saw the picture of myself and I was like, "Oh my God." I wasn't gray and I had more hair.
Right.
Less wrinkle.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I really do appreciate it so much.
Really are. Thank you so much. Guys, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to give us a like and a share if you enjoyed the show. We'll be back here tomorrow with news and updates. No longer the end of the world weekly show. All right. Take care, guys.